All right, Miles, let's talk Alabama Crimson Tide football. This team is one of our favorite teams to talk about, mainly because they're so good. A lot of talented players, a lot of great coaches, great conference, of course, in the brutal SEC. A lot of fun to always talk about Alabama. And there's a report out of spring ball specifically and what the key position battle going forward for the Alabama Crimson Tide and how it's shaping up. And I think Alabama fans will be really excited from what they're hearing.
Yeah, Nick, we're talking about spring ball, talking about key positions. Obviously, all eyes on the quarterback position. And that is why I want to ask Alabama fans in the comments below who has been your favorite Alabama quarterback of all time? There's a lot of great options recently. Don't let the recency bias cloud your judgment. There's been a lot of great ones as of late as well. But in the past, a lot of great Alabama quarterbacks. But what I want to know in the comments below is just who's been your favorite Alabama quarterback of all time. But Nick, what is going on down in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, so right now going to spring ball, the quarterback position battle is the most important position battle right now for the Alabama Crimson Tide, as it is for, frankly, every position, every team in college football, right? The quarterback position is the clear number one. The NFL game has kind of migrated to college football in that respect. So you look at Alabama needing to make sure they get Bryce Young's replacement right. Well, none other than former Alabama great Greg McElroy, now an analyst for ESPN, he's been following Alabama spring practice and has some interesting updates on this position battle at the quarterback position. Miles, if you want to go ahead and throw up the quote there. This is quoting directly McElroy. Quote, Jalen Milrose taken a lot of really nice strides forward this spring. I would say because of his athleticism and knowing how many off-schedule plays have occurred, not just for Alabama, but across college football, that athleticism, that explosiveness, being arguably the most gifted guy with the ball in his hands on the entire roster, that would go a long way in allowing to keep hold of that starting quarterback job. McElroy did go on to mention that he wants Milroe to focus, make sure he avoids turnovers and things like that, although he has reported to have a really solid job in spring ball so far addressing those turnovers. All right, Miles. I always say when you look at pundits and people on ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever, and it's just some guy talking, you're like, okay, is this guy's opinion? What does he really know? Whether he's a sports writer or a broadcaster or whatever, what really insights does he have? I always like listen to the guys that have played the position. I love when quarterbacks evaluate other quarterbacks. I love when people that played at a certain program evaluate that current program because they know they have the background. And there's no better person to evaluate a quarterback at Alabama in the Nick Saban era than a guy who played quarterback at Alabama in the Nick Saban era. And the fact that McElroy has come out and said, listen, I really like the progression Milroe is on. I know a lot of people are high on Simpson. I think he's a really talented kid as well. But I think going forward, the fact that McElroy has said, hey, listen, Milroe has taken really big strides and he looked really athletic and really explosive at times last year as well, I think is a sign to me that Milroe has taken control of the quarterback position for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Miles, give me your thoughts on this quarterback position battle for Alabama, McElroy's comments, and just everything in general with this football team.
Yeah, Nick, I think McElroy kind of nailed it in his comments when he talks about, making off schedule plays, being able to have that athleticism to be able to extend the play, because that really kind of has been a huge factor in today's game in the modern football world, especially going into the NFL as well. Been highly touted attribute that prospects have. And that is where I think Milroe really has the edge in this game. He's been known for his legs. He's been known to have great footwork as far as getting out of the pocket, extending the play, making those off timing, off schedule throws. And he just has really great athleticism as well. When you look at arm strength, all those kind of things, he shines in all of those aspects. So, Macro really kind of nailed it because that is what this guy excels at. That is what today's game is all about. And that's kind of what Alabama has been looking for a lot lately. So I think none other, Simpson could be a great guy as well, but I think Milroe really is the quarterback of the future here for Alabama. You look at a guy like Jalen Hurts when he was at Alabama, a guy really great with his legs. We saw how well he developed. You see a guy like Tua maybe not quite as athletic as Jalen Hurts, but still is able to make some moves when he needed to. But I think Milroe's a really great fit here down in Alabama. I want to see how this progresses. And like I said, I think he can battle. I think he holds on to the starting quarterback job here for the Crimson Tide. But I think going this season, we will see a different type of Alabama program because Bryce Young isn't really even quite the athlete that Milroe was. This guy, he's 6'2", 201. No one's going to be talking about how tall Jalen Milroe is when it comes to be his time in the draft. He's a big dude. He's got a lot of size on him, got speed, he's got the athleticism. So if he can get this offense down under his belt, I think he could be really impressive with all the weapons down there at Alabama.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I think when the way the college football, the way the game has evolved is that when it comes to the quarterback position, you really look for three things, right? Can you create big plays, back-breaking plays that change the mode of the game? Can you keep drives alive? Can you convert third downs and things like that? And number three, can you avoid the back-breaking turnovers? And Milroe checks those first two boxes easily. He's a big play machine. I think his run against Arkansas, I believe memory serves last season, was absolutely spectacular. And because his ability to make off-schedule throws, and whether it throws or plays with his legs, will allow him to keep convert third downs and keep drives alive. That's one of the more underrated aspects of Bryce Young. I think a lot of people forgot on is that his ability to avoid pressure in the pocket, step up and have good pocket presence and get rid of the football, converting third downs was huge for Alabama. Milroe will obviously be a completely different flavor, but he has a different kind of athleticism. But I think he'll have a similar kind of end result for the Crimson Tide going forward. And I think Milroe focusing on removing the bad turnovers, the back-breaking mistakes that can really hurt a football team will be really huge, as McElroy alluded to in this report. So the fact that Milroe already checks the first two boxes right out the gate is a big plus in his factor. And if he can just improve on turnovers, with which time and experience I think he will, means the Alabama Crimson Tide should be in good hands at the quarterback position going into 2023.